everyone, this is Madhu from Adi Yogi Ayurveda. Welcome to my podcast show. Before I begin, I want to let you know, I want to make this announcement that me and a fellow Divine Feminine friend, we have been working on this healing method for a few months. In March, we downloaded the activations and the information to begin or to do this service for others. And her higher self and my higher self, we specialize in the trauma, like trauma-based things, like things that are based on childhood trauma, past lives, and everything that we carry in our DNA that prevents us from being fully human and being fully ascended and aware type of humans. And then her higher self is also an expert in crystals, so crystal healing, and I've also worked with crystal healing before, and then I stopped for a while to pursue some other type of knowledge. There are so many things that we have to learn to combine in order to bring it into our healing. So now I'm getting back to the crystals again. So she and I have been healing, upgrading, and preparing to offer this for months. So it's, I think, with the QHHT session and this whole thing in March, and now our higher selves think that we're ready, and we were told this is what we have to do. We weren't sure how to go about doing this, so now we were told, and the healing is called the Lemurian Crystal Chamber Healing. So what we do is we transport you to our, obviously etherically, not physically, to our healing chamber that we use for healing in Lemuria. And then we perform the healing for you, we activate, and the healing works with, it's like I cannot do it alone, she cannot do it alone. It works with both of our frequencies, like both of us doing it at the same time. So yes, of course we did it on each other, and we tried it on, we're gonna offer it to other people too. So I tried it on one person that I know. So we are offering that for the public now, and everything that we offer is given to us as a gift as we heal ourselves and we go up and learn and get more knowledge through research and things like that, but obviously through our own healing mostly. So this was one of the things that we did. We were feeling overwhelmed, blocked, and there were a lot of hidden blocks within us that were like at a DNA cellular level that were trying to come out but couldn't. And we did this healing, and it released a lot of these hidden traumas from past lives that we weren't aware of, anything that we carry through our bloodline. A lot of my healing work is based on that. So Mahakali Shuddhi is like the first step into the healing process, where we cut cords, get rid of entities. So we clear kind of like the external attachments and things that really doesn't need. It's like when you're covered with mud, we wash off the mud, and then this one is more like working on the inside now, getting rid of the bacteria that came from the mud, something like that. So this is called the Lemurian Crystal Chamber Healing, and we use amethyst. This is the amethyst crystal stones that we use. We use the master amethyst. I call it the grandmother stone. That's how I address them. That's the it's kind of like the leader stone of the amethyst. And whenever I need information, I go to the grandmother stone, and that's what it just comes like an instinct. So that's what I do. And they're each crystal on earth, they are programmed to do certain types of things. So these Lemurian amethyst crystals are programmed to do overall body healing. So they have that consciousness to find and release whatever that needs to be released, whether you know it or not. All you have to do is just we will, like, allow you to lie down in the bed, and then we will do it together at a certain given time, and then you will receive the healing. So yeah, that is another healing that we put out yesterday. So I would love for you guys to check that out. And then the topic of conversation today, I would like to share some of the things that I found out through this the healing that I'm going through, and the work that I'm here to share with others. Is basically based on trauma, all these type of different things that the humanity had to go through, and that's really embedded in our cellular structure. And me and a couple of other divine feminines, we've been on this journey of really uncovering the depths of these traumas that we've had. We've had traumas, and it's like different types of traumas, and it started with the family. So it started in the family when we were young. So we had to go through these things where we had to heal ourselves and come to this place where we had to really decode as to how this happened and why, and how we took it as a child, and how we see it now from our perspective, and how people, more that we know, are facing these type of things. And we don't even realize that just because people come out smiling doesn't mean that their lives are perfect. Behind the scenes, I think every person has a type of trauma that they have gone through, whether you realize it or not. So that's something that we are going to offer to others, like the learning and the healing that we are hoping to bring about in the future. So the first thing I want to talk about is the traumas, the type of traumas. So when we talk about trauma-based mind control, for example, there's this method that they use where the first couple of years of the child's life, and this is like the generational, this is the epigenetic, transgenerational passing down of the trauma. So that people cannot take trauma all of a sudden. Some people die from trauma because people have different levels of tolerance, and some people have high tolerance to trauma, just like me and the other two divine feminines that I'm working with, because we are born into those bloodlines where we inherit the already recorded trauma from the bloodline. So we don't react the same way, the way that someone else would from a bloodline who hasn't experienced that level of trauma. Anyways, going back to the topic, the trauma, what I experienced was like, okay, the same kind of, I was researching and I'm like, oh, this is the same type of thing that I experienced. Like the first couple of years, I'm showered with love. I'm the only child at that time, and then all of a sudden my brother was born, and then suddenly I was not important. I was just like the troublemaker. I was the one that is trying to get attention, and then it's like everything, my world turned upside down. That's a trauma, because the same people who you loved and doted on were now doing the opposite. So, and then something very traumatic happened when I was I think 8 or 9, and it was a loss of a loved one, and I'm not going to disclose too much of information, but that created a huge trauma in my life too. When we lose someone we love, when we even move from one house to another, that creates trauma for children, because it's kind of like it's not the way it used to be. So you, like, obviously things happen like that. So the way the parents handle the situation is what matters, not anything else. So if the child is given comfort that everything is all right, we are here, or like, if you're like, if you're a single parent, like I'm here, and then just treat the child kindly and try to reduce the stress, instead of being like, you better get used to it because that's how we're going to be. And when you just even yelling at a child, I've seen many parents just yell at a child, especially in public, that creates shame and low self-worth. So that's a type of trauma. Giving birth prematurely or something traumatic happened while the child is in the womb. Like, I know a long time ago I heard that this lady was pregnant back in Sri Lanka, and then they like thieves came into her house to rob, and then that child who was in the womb was traumatized. So there are so many different types of traumas. Like even your first heartbreak can be a type of trauma. Your friend betraying you can be a type of trauma because it shakes up your world. Your world is supposed to be a happy world, and it gets turned upside down because you never expected these things to happen. Natural disasters, they're a type of trauma. And like any type of chaos that shakes up the natural order creates trauma, because humans like routine. Humans are comfortable with things happening, at the same pace, at a slow pace. That's our natural way of being, just being slow, not like in a negative way, but just just taking it slow, relaxing. And that's how people in the ancient world used to live, just like taking it slow, relaxing and things like that. So things that disrupts this flow creates a type of trauma, and it depends on your level of tolerance. So as a child, these type of things are kind of new to us. Okay, so as a child, it could trigger, like, because something happened, just because your friend betrays you, maybe you might be thinking that shouldn't really be a big trauma. Well, this is the thing. There could be things embedded in your DNA that triggers you to a more higher level because of the things that happen in the past that led to a certain situation, or something from your past life that your subconscious suddenly remembers and brings up, but your conscious mind can't fathom like what it was. But you just feel this sense of danger and this fearfulness because you're thinking, like the worst of the situation. Because the reason why we think the worst of the situation is based on the past experiences. I know I talk about this all the time. The body, the soul, it's like a computer that stores information, and whatever happens to you right now, the body and the mind and the soul goes and compares it to what happened in the past. And this is what they teach in the Vedic philosophy, in the Vedic psychology. The mind and the body refers to the past experiences and base the conclusion of this situation based on the past experiences, whether you are consciously aware of it or not. That's why people overreact sometimes. That's why you're kind of like triggered to a certain level when you experience some things and you don't even understand why. So traumas can do different things. So as children, they hold it and they take it very, very, like we take it hard. So when we become adults, those experiences kind of shape us into who we are. And part of what me and the other divine feminines, we are here to offer is that change, the healing, so that we can go forward as a clean slate instead of basing our experiences on the past events or the past lives or the bloodline traumas that we carry. We are going to create new memories to replace the old ones, so that we can turn the society into something much more healthier. Like we have a healthier outlook in life. So speaking about that, the disassociation, I want to mention that the disassociation happens when your mind splits into different type of personalities to handle the trauma, and then so you can disassociate yourself from the correct personality and the correct consciousness. It's kind of like your consciousness just wants to go because it can't handle it. So let's say something like, for example, if a child gets bullied in school because that child's personality is nice or sweet or something like that, that child will develop a different personality to battle these bullies, because they're like, okay, this nice personality is not going to cut it, I'll have to be a little bit more tougher. So then your alter ego comes into play, and that's what we call the masks. That disassociation causes you to create these different personalities to match different situations, so that we alternate between all these different personalities, forgetting who we are inside. So the meaning of ascension, finding out who we are truly inside, is part of combining all these different personality and integrating them and letting go of what personalities that are not needed anymore. After we heal ourselves, those personalities leave. So that's kind of the type of work that I'm doing right now, to come up with a healing plan with my friend, and whoever is going to get involved in the future. It's not going to be just me and this one person. I think it's going to be more people who are going to be contributing to this, so that we understand how these personalities work and how to heal these aspects to move forward. So speaking of that, like the masks that we wear will allow you to understand that, oh my gosh, this is the mask that I wear at home. This is what I sound like at work. Then you will realize that you have those type of trauma-based experiences too, and because of these, we have changed or altered the personalities to change, to fit the situation, so we can handle things in life instead of really presenting your true self and just being empowered in your real self, presenting that same personality to everyone and everywhere. So that's something that I wanted to bring that into awareness, so that you can realize it and understand when the time frame when these personalities came into being, and then understand that, this is the aspect of myself that I need to heal in order to go forward in my healing journey. As a part of your healing journey, there are so many things to look at and heal, and this is going to help you in a way to understand where these wounds came from, or how these traumas or wounds came to be, especially examining your childhood, because your childhood can tell a lot about the person you turned out to be now. It's kind of like a timeline or a summary or a map from where you got from A to Z. We haven't gone to Z yet because we are from A to whatever. So that's that would be helpful. So that this is going to really help you with healing of your traumas and really coming to an understanding of who your true personality is, or just going back to who your real personality is. So that's something that I've been going through and I've been learning, so I can share this gift of healing with others, this knowledge with others. And one of the things I realized is that as a child, I used to always be outside, walking around barefoot, looking at... one thing my guides keep showing me is that me walking around in the grass and just looking at ladybugs, being fascinated how beautiful they are and how the colors, how the colors look like, and how it was how they came to be to look like that, and how they look against the grass, the green grass and things like that. I would just climb trees and I just walk around in the property by myself or with my cousins, And I was really like an outdoor type of person, and now I'm different. I'm more like indoor type of person. And like if someone says go barefoot outside, I'll be like, ew, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I've changed so freaking much. And I really need to examine these aspects and get back to who I am, because as a child, that's like your real true personality before experiences changed you, before people changed you. So it's really important to look back on how you used to be. So yeah, this is what I wanted to share with you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Please do check out the services that I offer on my website at adiyogiayurveda.com. And I'll talk to you next time. This is Madhu.